Oh my.
Welcome everybody to Catfish Weekly along with Chad and Josh. I'm Lyle. And boys, we can't be talking about some of the stuff we talk about backstage.
No, we cannot.
Absolutely not.
Hey Chad, why don't you go ahead and welcome everybody into the show. I got
Alrighty.
to step across the hall for just a second. I'll be right back.
All right. We've got first one I see in here is Mr. Tim Molina. He is also saying he's picking a topic of home fries. We got Mr. Jason Lamb, Big Wrench Catfishing, Mark Barnum, LG Bass, and Merrimack Cats and Fishing by Faith Outdoors, Jeff Parker. Hold on, I got a web root thing popping up. There we go. X out of it. It won't go away, Josh. There he goes.
Is it going?
It's gone now. We got it. We got John. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I guarantee it. Rizarek. If I did that wrong, please blame Josh. We got Joe Buck 66, Sean Abney, Fishing and Freedom. What's going on, Richard? My beautiful, amazing, awesome wife D. We got Fish Flex. We got Mr. Brian B. Catfish and Troy from Real and Virtual Outdoors, and Michelle. It's all mine. They're still
get
coming.
Big Wrench catfishing in there also. So
I did. I didn't get that next one though. Hooks and hammocks.
Hooks and hammocks. Chris
has made it in. He invited us down this weekend, all the way down to Louisville. We launched a boat and then they left. He we'll call it. He joshed us.
How's that joshing you?
We got Double Hook Angling and David Smith. What's going on? Chucky Morgan. Miss Annette Morgan. Right now, I think I'm caught up. Lyle, they're starting to slowly but surely come in here.
Absolutely.
What's happening?
Always good to see Dave in here.
That's right. There's the Bullock Experience.
Brian B.
Bumping my Greenwell. Yeah. Wabash Nate. And want to be outdoors. Even though I shouldn't even call his name, he says, "Evening, gentlemen and Chad."
Well, he's not wrong.
I must be I must be next level. Hey, McLaughlin, what's going on? All right. We'll try to say hi to some more folks as they come in. We got Squirrel. Wow.
What?
You got any tournament results?
I do not have any tournament results, but I know you do.
I do have some tournament results because this weekend was the Ohio Valley River Cats tournament here in Rising Sun, Indiana, where I know some of our catfish YouTube community actually fished in. I was going to go over, there was 172 boats, and if you didn't see the live that I did Saturday morning, I filmed the launch, which is pretty cool. It is even more awesome in person to hear the rumble of almost 200 boats at one time take off. So if you want to go check that out, or maybe next year, be a part of it. Come down and watch. A lot of fun. Let's see. I got to start with Big Fish, Lyle.
Okay.
Because Big Fish was what is being known right now as the record for the Rising Sun tournament. And it was not one of the top 20 teams that caught it. But it was a 69.25 pound blue cat.
Nice.
By Fancher and Peak. They finished 51st with a 69.25. They couldn't find anything outside of that fish.
Man, that's too bad.
Wow.
Great fish.
I would love to have taken that home because that fish was worth, I think, $6,400. It was awesome. Honorable mention to Mr. Ryan Bortz, who came in 38th place. And then we'll go to the top 20 here. This is a 2-day tournament. So we've got in 20th place Gibbons and Smith with 110.72 pounds. 19th, Land and Elder with 111.04 pounds. 18th place, Darnell Brown and Darnell with 113.08 pounds. 17th, Mahan and Mahan with 113.62 pounds. A lot of people here within ounces of each other. 16th was Cochran and Turner with 113.9. 15th was Boward, Hodge and Hodge with 116.1. 14th was Wagler, Yoder, and Wagler. That was hard to say. 116.98. 13th was Cooper and Cooper with 118.86. 12th was Veed and Veed, 121.73. Mulville, and Giles in 11th with 128.81. In the top 10, we got Petrowski, and Shelburne at 131.49. 9th, Bundy and Bundy with 135.57. 8th, Kelly and Hunt, 136.71. 7th, Redding and Beckman, 144.15. 6th place, Blauvelt, Howard, and Carpenter with 145.67. And 5th place, Arnold and Yost with the second big fish of 64.44 pounds and a total weight of 147.51. 4th, Johnson and Johnson, 161.74. 3rd place, Holding and Patterson with 171.07. Number 2 was Petrowski and Petrowski. There's 2 Petrowski teams, 175.77. And winning and taking home the $10,000 grand prize was Arthur, Halcombe, and Breedlove at 203.9 pounds.
Was that my buddy Chuck Breedlove? Charles Breedlove?
I thought it was Kevin. But
Okay,
I may be wrong.
I don't know Kevin, but I know Charles. We called him Chuck back in the old days before he's married, and he's a hell of a fisherman.
That is some awesome weights for those.
That is, and they're very close.
It really is. And apparently both of those 60s came out of that pool.
That's even better.
It is.
That's actually very surprising. And, it seems, and I need to talk to Kayak Mike, did the live weigh-in. He actually fished it as well. But he had something to tell me. But I'm noticing over the last 3 or 4 years, it seems like the top 20, that's why I read the top 20. That's the top 20 cash. All right. So the weights to win it is slowly but surely going up. So It's been going to about 90 to 100 to 110 this year. So hopefully that means some good things, but we will have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that Brad Beck says yes, that Chuck Breedlove. Chuck is Chuck is he's one of the top 20 cat fishermen in the United States, always have been. If I was going to give somebody kudos, I would put him in the top 5. There's a lot of people that think they can really catch catfish. Chuck can really catch catfish. And he can do it with any partner. Doesn't matter who it is.
I need to introduce myself to Chuck next year, and I'm going to put a tracking device on his boat.
I'm telling you, and get bait. The boy can get bait. The biggest thing in tournament catfishing that worries the most amount of people would be that Casey Tudorow and Chuck Breedlove would fish together. That would that would run off probably 90% of the tournament fishermen.
So you're saying that them two are on the same level as if Josh and I fish together?
I'd have to see you and Josh make a couple of finishes, but I'm telling you that the people that think they're the best only dream about fishing like them two boys do. And that's a fact. They are that good. And like I say, either one of those two can take anybody for a partner, and they're going to place. Just the way it is. They're that good.
That is good to know.
And here's something else that's good to know. We got some decals in the mail the other day, and we're going to try to show them to you so people know what they're getting, and we're going to give away one later on. Can you see that?
There it goes.
I know that outside ring is hard to read.
It was up there for a second.
Yeah,
for a second. Fraternal something.
It's the Fraternal Union of Catfishing Deplorables.
Love it.
Oh, we've
I
seen him in
find
chat
that-
a few times.
What's that?
I said
Yeah.
we've seen him in chat a few times.
Yeah.
And I will say, I just noticed this as I get ready to close it out, Lyle. For the 2 days of the tournament, day one was 4,711.9 pounds of weight in. Day two was 3,482.2. So
Wow.
over 8,000 pounds of catfish weighed in this weekend at that tournament.
That's a lot of fish.
There's a
For
lot
a
of
place
weight.
that is complained about not having fish, and they've
Well,
always
they blew our cover now, J-Dog. I mean, we've been saying
they've
we have.
always got a lot of fish over there. People just can't get on them like
Yeah,
they
Chad, now we just need to know your excuse.
Well, most of my rods end up in the water, and
Oh, that is true.
That's a good one there.
I was going to say I had D laughing about what your hat meant the other night during your live.
yeah, let's not even. Yeah, pal.
It sounds like I missed something.
Do you want to go ahead and fill the fine folks at home in too?
Oh,
Josh?
might as well. I asked him if his hat stood for D's hardware loser, since he always seems to throw stuff in the river. So
Friends like you guys, who needs it?
I must have missed that somehow. Hey, there's Van. Welcome, Van.
We got a couple more people popped into the
Gadget?
chat. So we got Parker Pursuits,
Mr. Gadget's in here.
Gene Tillman. I believe it might be Gene Tillman's birthday. If I'm maybe mistaken, but
No, it is his birthday.
Ah,
I've seen Double Hook Angling, Mr. Palmetto Cats, Uncle Jeep, John Boys, Whisker Seekers Outdoors, Miss Chrissy Brown. I was picking on her, she said the other day.
Really?
I'd never do anything like that to anybody in my life. I think that was everybody. Mr. Avid Fisherman's made it in as well.
there's Mark from Catfish and Crappies in here now. Roger Muskrat Adventures.
All right, so what are we talking about tonight there, fellas?
I think it's viewer's choice tonight.
Viewer's choice tonight. So what does that mean? A little Q&A action, Lyle?
That's exactly right. That means if the people in chat have a topic that they'd like us to talk about or a question they'd like answered, we'll do our best to do that. And I am sending out a message now because there was a message put in chat early this afternoon and I have forgot part of it, and I'm sending that person a message to see if I can get that up and get it answered, because it's something that is important to all of us, I believe, and I can't remember the whole question, so
Well, if not, we could always start it out. Tim Molina wanted to talk about the topic of home fries.
okay.
I like them fried with little ketchup on top, but I don't know what else to tell you about the home fries.
Cheese and bacon.
Oh, cheese and bacon sounds good too.
Yeah.
This is not a
Good.
food show, though. Let's talk about fishing.
Okay.
First topic, talk about Chad. There we go. Question number one. Favorite all-around size hooks for flatheads?
Hmm.
Favorite all-around size?
So yeah, so what's your favorite size hooks for flatheads? I think
Well,
I would get it not only size, but I would also style. So go ahead.
Just 1 second, please, before I forget it again. I got my answer, and please keep Jay Fox Hunter and his family in your thoughts and prayers. He had passed away over the weekend.
Yep.
Not sure what day. I didn't notice it, and Chrissy had posted that, and I messaged her. That's a very sad thing. The gentleman was in everybody's chat and was on all the shows, and we want to keep that family in thoughts and prayers, because he was a big part for several years now of what we've been doing, and we don't want to forget about him ever. So that was the thing.
Yeah, Jay Fox. Yeah, Jay Fox passed away on Friday, I believe, around midday or so, or in the morning. And you're right. And a lot of people that made it down to CatCon this year got the pleasure of meeting him. And yeah, he was a very, very nice gentleman.
He was a
and
good
definitely
guy.
supported us all. So definitely take a moment and, keep Mrs. Fox Hunter in your thoughts and prayers, because I'm sure she's going through a lot. And, I don't know if anybody knows, Randall Rhino also is having some issues as well with his wife's health. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers as well as her. So
Who is that?
Randall Rhino Outdoors.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. All right. All right. So favorite all around size hook for flatheads.
For me, it would be an 8/0 hook, not necessarily a circle hook, but if I was going to pick out my favorite one, not my favorite all round one, it would be a 10/0 big J hook.
What's that? Big River hook, something like
Big
that.
River, yeah. It's
Big River.
Gamakatsu Big River. It's a straight hook. It's a little heavier than a lot of the hooks out there. A lot of people like thin wire hooks. I do not.
I do not.
When I set the hook on one, I want to take no chance of it ever bending or breaking or anything like that. And I want a fat wire hook, and I want it when I lay the hook to it. I don't want nothing stopping it. Bone, other tackle, if somebody else is left in that fish or anything. I want a driver on in there.
Lyle's trying to rip a face off it.
I am trying to, because when I'm flathead fishing, I don't want to lose none of them. Not one. They're that special to me, and I don't trust circle hooks on any big fish. When I bump, I don't use a circle hook. I bump with that Big River Gamakatsu in a 9 or a 10 because I'm trying to get big fish, and it may not work for everybody. It may not work for anybody but me, but it does work for me. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, for me, flathead is going to be J style type hook or secondary like a kale hook. Typically, I would agree. Circle hooks are going to be one of my last resorts if I'm targeting flathead, but normally I'm targeting blues, so I catch flatheads with my circle hooks. So
there we go.
But, yeah, you can catch them with them. You sure can.
You can get them.
I think size wise, sorry, Jeff, real quick on the size of those. Yes, I agree. I think an 8/0 is typically going to be my most versatile for any of those casts I'm going after.
Here's a comment by Mark. He says, "Sharpen your hooks, people." Well, when my hook gets dull, I never sharpen one. I throw it away and put a new one on.
Yep. Hooks are cheap enough to,
Yeah, I just don't. And a lot of people's got them little sharpeners. I have one on my desk right here. It's got a sharpener on the back side of it. The only time I use that is when I'm snelling hooks. I'll get a dull one once in a while, brand new, or the tip of it's burred, and I'll use that for that. But it never leaves my desk. It does never go in the boat. If I have a dull one in the boat, I put a new one on because I can't sharpen a pocket knife, much less a hook. So why would I try to do something I know I suck at?
Yeah. I
just put a new one on. I ain't kidding you. I used to take my knives to my brother in packs, because I just can't sharpen one. And I've tried every knife sharpener and hook sharpener available. This is the only one that I've ever seen knock the burrs off of them consistently well. And I know there's several out there like this, but it works for me, and I do that on brand new hooks. I do not use it on used hooks. And I know that Mark sharpens his hooks a lot, and it saves him some money. And I'm all about saving some money, but usually if I have a dull hook, that means I'm catching fish, and I ain't got time to fool with that.
I agree with Ruben Yoder. He said he loses his before they have a chance to get dull. That's kind of where
no doubt.
That's usually the case, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, any thoughts on the flathead hooks?
If I am targeting flathead specifically, usually I'm in for a bad night anyway because I'm probably not going to catch one. But 8/0, and I got turned on to I think Mizuko makes them. They're a sickle hook. So they're J style hook, but they've got a real sharp sickle bend in that.
I know I've seen something like that, but the Gamakatsu Big River are kind of like that.
They're similar to that.
The Charlie Browns are similar to that.
And I like that. Once they get if you hook something in that, it is not coming off, and you're going to probably have to get pliers to get the hook out.
Usually go through a bone, and I prefer going through the head or the jawbone or something instead of going in the corner of their mouth. People say, "Oh, got it right where I want it, right in the corner of my mouth." Well, why would you want it there? Put it through some bone. It ain't gonna never come undone there.
I had a big old bluegill underneath the bobber one day. That's the best.
Really, yeah. Samsung Galaxy for the win, pal.
Samsung Galaxy. You can leave them under the water for a week. Go back and get them. Pull them out of the water. Turn them on. That's how I know. Sean.
Yes, they are, Jerry. They're my favorite for bumping and everything.
Like Sean T's comment said, he don't sharpen lawnmower blades either. He just buys new ones. I do too. It's a whole lot easier just
there
to buy
you
a
go.
new blade.
That's right. I do the same thing.
Then you don't have to worry about sticks. I was mowing this afternoon. You just mow over whatever sticks, anything you see.
Kids' toys. Flying. I only tell them once, pick up your toys. I'm going to mow the grass. If they're still out there, I mow over toys and all. Neighbors, it don't make no difference whose they are. I ain't getting off the lawnmower to pick them up.
Ideal boat for catfish.
Hello, Jody. But yeah, hi, Josh and Silent Shed. What's up with that?
Josh and Silent Shed.
I'm way up on the chat. I'm still trying to find questions. So D has a question: is what is your ideal boat for catfishing and why?
Whichever one is running right at the time.
I like that.
You better pick the one that's in Christina's parking spot.
There is not a boat in her spot anymore. There needs to be. Oh, that's falling here. Needs to be, but there's not one. There's a pellet grill.
There's no dying on Catfish Weekly. All right, don't choke it out on the show.
I don't have a particular brand that I would choose.
Well, I think she's maybe not talking about brand. I think she's more talking about like size.
I would want a 20 or larger V bottom, deep V.
Deep V.
And the reason is they ride so much smoother. They come up on plane faster. In my experience of the ones that I've had, and I've had several of them, I do like John boats because they're closer to the water, but they're a little more dangerous if you plan on taking kids out because of the sides being so short. But a deep V with whatever the maximum rated horsepower is for that, that's what you should always put on a boat. Never go under the maximum because they just don't perform as well as they should. And mine's rated for a 175. It's got a 125 on it. It needs the 175. It just does. That's plain and simple. And I want some type of rear mounts on the back for rod holders, either a rod rack or something that bounce on both sides with 3 deals on it. I don't care what brand it is. That's not important to me. But a big live well, it has to have a big live well, and I'm talking about 60 or more gallons. And that pretty much does me.
Yep.
And the reason is for the live well, it's not because we do a lot of tournament fishing anymore. It's because sometimes they need to be revived. And you have oxygen and all the equipment on the boats. Use it, get that fish back into the as good of condition as you can get it in before you release it. It'll thank you and grow better, and you'll be happier knowing that it's going to survive and be good to go.
Yeah.
That's for me. That's my opinion.
I think too, things to consider is what you are comfortable on, what you are comfortable spending. You can find older boats if you're, more budgeted than others. If you're as rich as Mark Richfish, you can buy, the 24-foot ones that when you launch, the tail end hits the other side of the Fox River. But I think there's a lot of things that go into that, right? I mean, seriously, though, if you're tournament fishing, obviously, your setups and stuff like that, you're looking at stuff like live wells a lot more, or you're doing like what you're saying. If you're targeting those larger fish that may need recuperation and stuff like that. But I
But if
think
you got Mark's money,
if I had Mark's money, I'd probably have me a 30-foot North River or Hughes craft. But
then I don't think they make them quite that long.
with his
They'll
kind of
custom
money,
make whatever you want.
yeah, they would
I guess that's right.
yeah, they would custom make whatever you want. So
It all just takes money.
yeah, I think a lot of that plays into like right now, we have the boat that's in storage, and we have the boat that we mainly use, and we have very little room on the small boat. So,
And to tell you the truth, I love that boat that you have in storage.
how much money you got?
Not enough. But I do like that boat. I think when you get done with that, it's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would like to have the first ride on it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I really do like that boat. I think
I like Pete's idea. We have 50 cal deck guns and everything on your boat. So.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. I know that we're supposed to match hook size of the bait, but I've noticed that smaller hooks do well with most size blue cats, but not so much with flathead. Have anybody else noticed that?
I noticed that years ago. That's why I say I like 9 and 10-aught Big River Gamakatsus.
I think one of the most important things on a hook is that gap between that hook point and the shank.
That is one of the very first things I look at any of those, any hook I buy.
It's the most important thing on circle hooks for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, on the Gamakatsus, I haven't noticed them having an issue of needing to be wider. They're pretty wide anyhow. But there is some companies that make really good hooks, and I'm going to let one of them slip out here, Mustad, that need to make their gap wider. They got a great hook. They got a great point on it. It's extremely sharp. It's just not wide. It's just not wide enough. They catch a lot of fish. They really do. But if they would increase the width on there 1/4 of an inch, man, they'd really have something.
If my thumb will not fit in it side to side, I will not buy it.
What are you talking about?
The gap on the hook, you. Changing the topic.
Ooh.
Okay. Or here's the topic: bacon, thick or thin, applewood smoked, or maple brown sugar. Yes.
Yeah. Thick and cooked till it's crunchy.
You could have been talking about straws for all I know.
Get out of there. Just get out of here with that burnt crap. Look, you don't even realize he's gone, freaking goober.
Do I care?
It was Josh that I kicked off. You didn't even notice you were still on the show.
I'm just reading chat, buddy. Just reading chat. And Fishing and Freedom says, I agree 100%. Love Mustang hooks, but won't use them because for big baits.
I didn't realize you had what different one up.
That's okay.
Go-to way of catching skipjack. I like that one.
That's a great topic right there.
We are getting ready to be in the probably at least the second best time, if not the best time of year, to be going after skipjack. That's that fall.
That's correct.
And what do you think about this?
I like
just
the old plain 3/8 ounce jigs tied about a foot or so apart. Toss them out there. You may have to play with your grub bodies, whether it be white curl tails or tubes or whatever. Figure out what the fish are wanting, and but you can change the color and action of your bait real easy that way.
That's right.
They work, and when you bust one off, tie you a new one real quick there, and you're good to go again.
I don't know if I told you guys or not, but for years, before there was winter blues on Wheeler, which come over New Year's weekend every year, we used to do skipjack trips down to Cumberland City, Tennessee, and there would be as many as 60 or more of us there at that one motel, the really nice one. And we'd be down there for 4 or 5 days catching skipjack. This is before they put a limit on them. Everybody from Harold Dodd to Doc Lang to just a ton of us would meet up down there. We all go out to eat at dinner. We would fill the restaurants up. Some of them would just, one day they had a bunch of them just quit because there was too many of us come in. They wasn't expecting them, and all the employees quit. So they was doing it ourselves. But we had such a great time catching skipjacks, and it was amazing. And then we started doing winter blues on Wheeler, and it became a lot more fun. But I would get my limit of skipjack there every year. So I would still try to get fresh ones for tournaments, but I mean for just fun fishing, pre-fishing tournaments, that's what we used was those. And I didn't have to buy any frozen. I already had them. Missed them days a lot. That was the year, the first time that Doc took his grandson Josh, who is now in college, was about 8 years old. They slept in the same bed in the middle of the night. Josh kicked Doc upside the head, and he wasn't right for 2 days. Just ask him about it sometime. I guarantee you he ain't forgot about it.
I'll have to ask him about that one. So for me, though, on the skipjack is, I think you have to have a variety. There's 3 baits that I really like. One, just like Josh said, grub, like white grubs and curly tails, stuff like that. A lot of people will buy the pre-made sabikis and use those, which sometimes they do work okay. But for me, it's the homemade sabikis with those grubs. Archie makes shiny heinies. I really love those. Those typically work really well.
He said shiny heiny again.
I'm going to show you my shiny heiny. And then last but not least, something I think you really need to have in your arsenal there is Foley spoons. And a lot of times I will even use the sabikis with a Foley spoon trailer. So 2 or 3, 4 sabikis, like the grubs or the shiny heinies, which I know Lyle loves for me to say.
I'm going to tell you,
and
I've never used a shiny heiny, but I always put them spoons and Foley spoons on the very bottom of my rig. And if you may pull that in 3 or 4 times and only catch 1 fish each time, and if you're only catching 1, it's on a sabiki rig or on a Foley spoon. Yeah,
I've never caught a fish on a Foley spoon.
Oh,
I've got a bunch of them. Have never caught a fish on one.
I have caught them on lots and lots and lots.
Well, we noticed down there the last time that we were down there and actually on them, and it depends. You might be getting hit on one thing, and then all of a sudden, boom, they stop. And as soon as you throw a different color or the Foley spoon, and sometimes the color of the Foley spoon matter, whether it be silver or green. And they would hit one versus the other. So,
can I mention something right quick about?
If you mention my shiny honey one more time,
jig tying.
Okay.
Jig tying. If you tie your jigs to catch skipjack, and if you're using, I have some right here. I can't think of the name of it, Chad. What do you call this?
Darling. Flash.
Yeah. Flashaboo. Flashaboo. Tie 8, 10, a dozen of them with each color Flashaboo you got, and do not be shy about using it. They like flash. That's the reason. Flash. What's that?
I love to put a lot of flash in my jigs one time.
If you're tying jigs to go catch skipjack with, they are in them places going after shad. So they're looking for the flash in the shad.
Yep.
Don't hold back. Lay it on them jigs with lots of flash and put every color you got on it because they love it. They just do.
Yep. Fishplex says, I am using circle octopus hooks every time I go catfishing. Advantage of the J hook, question mark, better hookup ratio, wider opening, or see, because my circle hooks rarely let me down. So the difference between the circle hooks and the J hooks, right, is your circle hooks tend to set themselves most of the time, right? Reeling now, you don't want to set the hooks like you would, if you're fishing for bass or like Josh does because he's a ditch pickler.
Stop it.
But no, yeah, circle hooks. You're reeling down on the fish and letting the hook and the rod bend set the hook for you. The J hook, you're actually setting the hook. So you're pulling it and setting it, setting the rod versus reeling down. So that's one of the I don't know which one you would really call advantage. It really depends on your style. Most people really grew up learning how to set hooks. So switching to a circle hook is really hard for a lot of people.
I think that's changing though.
I think it's changing a lot. More and more people are using circle hooks.
Mm-hmm.
But even with a kale hook type deal is it's kind of a mixture between the two, and I think that's kind of what helped me because I think I used those more than I did the J hooks growing up. So
if you've got a blue or a channel, they're going to take that bait and run with it, and that's when that circle hook is really going to come in handy because when they turn and go and they run, that circle hook turns, it sets itself. Flatheads, when you're fishing tight to cover, they might take it. They just hang out there. They're the biggest duck in the puddle. They don't have to run away with their bait because there's nothing in that lake going to steal it from them.
And a lot of times that's because they just sit there on the bottom. You're fishing closer to the bottom, and they just sit there. And if it doesn't move, you're not going to jerk on it. You're not going to reel down on it if it's not moving, if it's just sitting there. But the minute it turns, it's time to go to business. And that's when business picks up because a flathead, in my opinion, for what it's worth, is the hardest fighting fish of all. And I've caught some big blues, and they fight hard too. But that flathead, he stays down. If he's not down, he will go as low in the water column as he can get, and you're going to earn every inch getting him back up to the top or as close to the top as he once was. And he will fight you. He will try to get in every piece of structure there is. And if you don't have the equipment to keep him out of there, you're going to be in trouble pretty quick. What's Dieter say? I do not. Auto-inflating airbags. When they say makes recovery much faster. That could be. I don't know. I probably will never own a Sea Arc. I don't really like getting in them. They're just not my favorite at all. And they don't make a deep V, and that's one strike against them for me ever having one.
I've fished out of a few. They're awesome boats, but
Doc had a great one. I'm sure the one he's got now is a great one. The old one he had was a great boat, and we had time in it. And he got good fuel mileage with that 175 on it. But that was one of the rare Sea Arcs that I was ever in that I cared much about.
Hey, Betty's in here.
Tall Betty. Welcome. But there's, other people like them. They think they're the greatest boat ever built. And if that's what they want, that's fine. They're just not for me.
Yeah. Well, I do know that they're finally starting to hopefully listen a little bit, and they're making some modifications to their designs and stuff like that. So hopefully they're on their way to making their boat safer, in my opinion. So
for me to be interested in one at all, the first thing we have to do is make the back transom taller. That's the biggest hit they got. Because if there's anywhere where there's a whole bunch of boats sink, the majority of them will be sea arcs. And I know you're not supposed to say that, but it's a fact. It just is. The back of them is too short, and water comes over the back of them, and I don't want to be in one when that happens.
Mhm.
Just don't.
I was just reading that one.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, what's your favorite, most reliable bait that isn't typical? So, not cut bait, live bait.
Mm.
Well, I know for Lyle it's chicken.
No. You're very mistaken about that. Let me think about that. I'm going to go with gold eye or moon eye. Moon eye is my favorite go-to bait. If I can find them, I'll take that over any other bait in the river.
But what is that? Is that he's saying that isn't typical?
He's not cut bait or live bait though. So
not cut bait. Well, you can use them live or whole if you want to. I choose to cut them, but I would say I gotta think about that a second. Use whole bluegill, or if you're fishing for flatheads, it'd have to be bullhead. But bluegill is one of my most favorite ones to use. As for live bait.
Well, if it ain't like fish type, bait like cut bait or something like that, I'm thinking, like we're going for, like especially like channel catfishing, like stuff like shrimp, or obviously chicken liver is an old time favorite, but even beef liver. I used to really like beef liver back years ago, but I haven't seen beef liver that's any good anymore. So it used to be really nice and tough, and now it's all mush every time I get it. So.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go with shrimp on this one.
Yeah, shrimp.
If we're not talking natural forage, caught cast net or otherwise, I'd probably take the shrimp, uncooked raw shrimp with shell on.
Shrimp. Yeah. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, Kevin says the new Sea Arc has a full transom, so they did make those changes. I thought I did. I was actually not that I was on the. At work looking at boats today at one of our local marinas, but I thought it looked like the new one that they had a full transom in the back. So
yeah, I just when I see one, then I'll make a determination. But until they do that, I'll never even get in another one.
I'm gladly, if anybody wants to buy me one, I'll still take it, even though Lyle is all against it. No. I will gladly take one.
Yeah,
that way I can put it towards. Trade in on a brand new Hughes craft or something.
There we go. Marilla said he's going to eat the shrimp. Yeah, that's one thing.
Well, yeah.
That's why Lyle would never, ever use them as bait, because he thinks it takes away from the all-you-can-eat shrimp buffet.
Well, I got to find a new one, because I'm not real thrilled with the one I've been going to, but it's still all you can eat. So, and it is shrimp.
Justin's fishing is black Twizzlers.
Oh no, I want red ones.
That's another thing. I haven't used them in years and years and years, but crawfish work as bait.
Crawfish work real good as bait.
The little white ones underneath a riffle in a small creek, a small river or creek, will catch a ton of channel cat. I love using them.
There's Richard Ward.
Kevin says, that's my main thing. Can't afford one. Let's see.
Let's see. You guys go ahead. I'm working on something.
You're fine. I'm scrolling back down, trying to get caught up to the bottom here.
I've got it.
Mad Catter came in and wanted to let everybody know that he's saying hi to me. He says, hello to you, beautiful, amazing person.
He must have been talking to me.
Must have been. Justin Fishing made it in. Justin Fishing Fetish made it in. Mr. Maurice Kaysen. Somebody else said just Joe Ziegler. What's going on?
Uncle Jeep's making you a deal here.
Yeah, I like this. I seen Uncle Jeep. We've got Danny Stone's credit card number. He wants to know what color I want. I love blue. So, but hey, I'm not going to be picky. If you're using Danny Stone's, you can put whatever colors on there. It's free. It's for me, right? So. But But D might have a problem with it, so you might want to go with blue.
Let's see.
There's Creole in here.
D does like blue.
She loves blue.
Blue's good color.
Anybody else got any more questions about topics to discuss?
Did we bring up the one earlier, real early? Somebody was wanting to know about how to keep gar from killing your live bait.
No, we didn't. I remember we said that, and I forgot all about it because it was before we saw it before the show started.
I don't know that there is a good way to keep gar from killing your live bait.
I don't think so.
No, or from stealing your dead bait.
Yeah, it seemed like if you're drifting, if you're moving, at least with me, I don't seem to have the gar problems as if we anchor up. If we anchor up,
I've never caught a gar dragging baits.
No,
ever. Not saying I've never had them hit, but I have never caught a gar, so I have no suspicion to say that.
If we anchor up, we'll get pecked to death by gar.
Anchored up. That was the first one Saturday night. First fish I caught. It looked like up at Mendota when the catfish do the tail walk.
Mm-hmm.
My rod bent, came back up, and I looked up, and a gar jumps off the top of the water, hits the water, goes back down, and about 5 seconds later, my pole goes. It bent back over. I was like, no.
Creole says target the gar, then they won't bite. That sounds about right. There is some truth to that.
I would love to see my friends on the Potomac change to the electric eel as bait and try it before anybody else does.
I keep saying I'm gonna try.
Because lighting, you think they light up a bank now?
Oh yeah.
Wait till they get a hold of an electric eel.
Mm-hmm. I've been trying all year to get a water snake in the boat, and I have not gotten one in the boat yet. Any other year I'd have had a dozen by now.
I haven't seen a lot of snakes out on the water.
I've seen a bunch. I can't get them in the boat because I want to cut one up and use it as hillbilly eel. And
we have eel.
What's that?
We have eel.
We do have eel.
What do you do with them?
I've never caught one, but I know we got them.
I've never caught one. Grandpa caught one time out of the Ohio River in a bass tournament.
Yep.
And you want to talk about trying to get a hold of that thing to get a hook out of it.
We used to have them on Mississippi, but I haven't seen one in a lot of years now.
Wow.
Sorry, B.
Well, now.
That escalated quickly. But yeah, we've got American eel down here. We've got them on the Ohio, they say, but I've never ever seen one or caught one or haven't heard anybody caught one. But I know they say that we have them more in the Kentucky River. So I don't know.
Don't try to put it in a net.
No.
Take my word for that.
We were fishing down behind Kentucky Dam. It was earlier. It was back in the spring. And I found a lamprey down there, and I tried to get Jerry Parker with it. I was going to make him think there was a snake by his foot, but it didn't freak him out. So,
I didn't know we had them around until J-Dog. I think it was last year. J-Dog caught a catfish with them on it, and he sent a picture of me, just the lamprey in the boat, and I was like, what in tarnation is that? Mm-hmm. Never, ever seen one of them in all my years of fishing the rivers.
Wild looking. Looked like something come from Mars.
Exactly. It definitely looks alien-like. Eel looks too much like a snake. Nope. That's why they call them the nope rope.
Brian, put your question back in. Chad messing around too much. It must have got past us.
Try a salamander or a mud dog. We have mud dogs around here.
We got J-Dogs around there too.
We got J-Dogs. I've tried to use him as bait. Nothing came near us.
Oh, well.
I don't see anything from you, B. I'm scrolling back.
Deep V or a fiberglass center console? I've got a fiberglass center console. They're great boats in rough water. But as far as getting around in there, that center console will get in your way more times than it'll benefit you. It's a pain in the neck sometimes.
Yes, yeah, I have that big center console, but I haven't had it really, out yet. So
Big what? Center console?
that center console that I have, that big fiberglass one, I
Is
haven't
it
really had it
fiberglass? Yeah.
out yet. Yeah,
That
but
center, but don't get me wrong, that center console's nice because you have access all the way down the side of the boat. There is nothing in your way. You can get over the side of the boat anywhere. But when you're trying to go from the back of the boat to the front, you got to turn sideways and try to sneak up through that narrow walkway. There's a trade-off to it.
Excuse me. Yeah. Did you say you need another boat, Josh?
Do I need another boat? No, I don't.
Yeah, Lyle's already turned me down. I just want to see how much money you have.
I don't have no money. I need that Mark money.
Don't we all, brother? Don't we all? All right. Lyle, we got about 9 minutes or so, 10 minutes, whatever. Do you want to go ahead and get the giveaway thing going?
You can. We're going to give away a decal. The FUCD
You're right. Center
fraternal,
console SPY. Well, this one's almost 8 foot wide, but it's still a pain in the neck.
Fraternal Union of Catfishing Deplorables. We're going to give away some. Let me get the screen up here. I'm on other screens. People said they're having issues. I'm trying to fix them, but when they don't make comments that I see, I can't fix them. We're going to give away some of these bait, stink bait holders, and then we'll give away. Come on.
How about don't put that hashtag in? I will do a whole new one.
Yeah,
I'll give away
one of the rigs that has the hook and the 2.5-inch bobber and all that stuff on it. I don't have one laying up here. I sent them all off. And I'll get one.
Mark's singing, he ain't got no money.
Oh, bull butter.
I heard he's got more money than Bill Gates.
If I had Mark's money, I could burn mine.
There we go. Hashtag free cool stuff.
Now, it'll probably
like
be
that
in green, but this will be the actually it's 8 circle hook with a 2.5-inch float.
Thursday night, Brian B., we will have Mr. Fish Flex, that's Sean Chili, on as our guest on the bait shop. So come on over on Thursday night on Fields to Water, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's God's time.
All right, guys. If you put in that hashtag stickers, make sure you get in there and put in that hashtag free cool stuff because it's been changed. Well, make sure you get entered on that. So
yeah, LG Bass, make sure you redo yours. Double Hook Angling, John Boys, make sure you redo the new free cool stuff hashtag. I think that's all. Nope, Avid Fisherman as well. Danny Stone, Mark Beckham, Brandon Hopper. I apologize. I didn't know Lyle was going to be so cool as to give away even more cool stuff. So I switched it up.
Yeah.
Well,
I deleted that. We're not going to have no shovelhead time. It's flathead time.
That is true.
I can't believe you would say that.
It is so nice out. I had my window open and it's dark. I mean, dark. And I would have swore some kid was pulling a little red wagon down the street a minute ago. And I remember that sound from when my kids was little.
When you looked out, did it like give you flashbacks to last year's Christmas season when you dropped it off in your big red sleigh?
No. And Chad, I have an emoji for you.
Hey, I love you too, Pops.
Yeah. No,
Solo Texan Adventure, Quiet Man Curtis, Danny Stone. What's going on, everybody? Will Green.
Let me see here, John.
I want to remind everybody that Mark with Catfish and Crappie will be live when we're done here. So you want to be able to be sure to tune in and watch him. He'll be fishing on the Fox River, I believe, up in Illinois.
Good luck tonight on your big creek. I don't know why y'all pick on him.
You're scoring brownie points, buddy. I promise.
Let's see. It is a big shiny honey. Yeah. Yeah.
Chad,
Yeah.
you've got to name that. You've got to name that big center console boat of yours the Shiny Hiney.
That would be awesome.
You got to do it. And I could show you. I could show you the place that does some awesome vinyl for that kind of stuff. So
That would be really, really neat.
Will Green wants to know if Lyle has fermented corn juice in his mug. That might be.
I'm not sure what this stuff's made out of, but no, I don't believe so.
Just so everybody is aware of what we're talking about with shiny heinies.
Here, hang on. Let me give you a full screen there, big guy.
Yeah, those are awesome little baits.
This is one of the colors. They actually come in multiple different colors, but you see the golden flash trail there with the silver as well. I buy multiple varieties. If I go into a store like Walmart or my local bait shop and they have shiny heinies, see shiny heiny, the original from Markey, 1/16 ounce, or I will buy everything they have on the shelf. Because at times these are impossible to find.
That may be the first time
Chad,
I've
I know where
seen
there
one.
are a ton of them at down there by Kentucky Dam at one of the local bait shops.
Yeah,
they always have them.
I have other ones. I know I have some in there, out in the truck. I have like literally a Walmart bag full of them now, where I've bought them over the last couple months.
I've been tying jigs like that for a long time. The difference in the ones that I tie is I rarely ever put eyes on a jig.
Yeah. If they would make those, if they would pour that jig head with a sickle hook, those things would be unstoppable.
Probably so.
Different kinds of sabikis as well. Like I said, this is a right there, size 8, main test 17 pound. They're just little gold hooks with a little bit of nothing really to them, little green head.
But they work.
And then here's a little bit bigger one where, kind of same thing. A little bit of, it's kind of like a reflective plastic that they use on the backside of the hooks. That goes pretty well as well. And this is a size 16, so 22 pound test, 30 pound main. So it's good to have different varieties of that kind of stuff.
I don't use eyes on the ones that I make, and I never called them a shiny hiney. And I don't put the gold in them. I use silver flash.
Chad, what is that on your pegboard right above where you pulled that sabiki rig from?
What, up here?
Yep, top left corner there.
This?
Yeah, huh?
So when we went out to Virginia
and
Tennessee and all that area, we stopped at Bobcat Bait and Tackle, and the girls found a discount bin. And I often find discount bins for this kind of stuff or giveaways like she did on the ladies Catfish Rumble and stuff. She put together like a basket of things to give away. And this is one of the items. This is a rattle toad.
Oh, okay.
And no, I did not pay $12.99 for that. There's no way I would ever pay $12.99 for a bait that I would never use.
You should have took that to Mendota. I bet those pike would have exploded on that.
I may do that next year. This is a 3.5 inch floating rattle toad.
Huh.
Rattle.
Sometimes it's nice to just get free, not free stuff, but this kind of stuff to fill the bait shop wall that you'll never use.
Yeah, Sean, you're absolutely right. But it's like if Dockery, it's like if you get your Dockery and wall off a Wish.
Anyway, so when we first started the bait shop, he really did outdo me on the bait shop wall, and I have started this one out. I got to get the bait cooler for right there. or right here or somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and finish off the wall. And then get the computer desk in here where I can actually push forward a little bit and you'd be able to see everything more. So, just like me, I'm a work in progress. Everything is.
I'm going to catch me a pike at Mendota next year. I said that this year, and
I've still not got one either.
I tried this year. There was one day I specifically just targeted pike, and I had them blow up on that. I think I was throwing that suicide duck, and they blew up on that suicide duck a few times, but they never would come back and hit it.
Just a reminder, hashtag free cool stuff. We're only up to 27 entries, 84 people watching, and 85 people watching. And if you would, please make sure you hit that thumbs up. If not for Lyle, if not for Josh, I know you would love to do it for me.
And while you're at it, if you like what we're doing, hit the subscribe button. We would appreciate that, and go ahead and subscribe. And we have a join button down at the bottom. If you care to join the group, we'd surely appreciate it.
I'll tell you what, while we are doing that,
I will take free and fake worm boxes.
Warm boxes?
I mean, more than likely, it's going to be filled up with cold beverages more than anything. So
we're going to throw.
Did I mention we're giving away some of these tonight? Fraternal Union of Catfishing Deplorables. It's kind of cool.
Other than color, is there a difference between gar and a pike? Between a gar and a pike or muskie? Yeah,
not really.
Yeah,
they're all about the same.
I mean, they're
there's
all
pretty
long,
good. There's pretty good difference between the fish, though.
Yeah,
they're
all long, slender, very scaly, hard scaled fish.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think there's a lot of major differences, meat wise and everything.
That's what they say. Yeah, they'd have to be better to eating than a gar. Have to be.
Danny, okay. Shanti hit the like button 3 times. Appreciate you, pal. Fishing the Rut, getting in on the giveaway. We're up to 31 entries.
Sweet. So the first giveaway we're going to do, Chad, will be the decal, right?
Yeah. Whatever you want to give away first, that's what we'll do first.
Union of Catfish Deplorables.
That's right. Well, Josh and I are still letting you think you run the show.
That's fine. I appreciate it. Then we'll give away the.
Hey, Evans, you got a space in there, buddy. You need to get that one back in without the space.
Yep. No spaces.
No space.
Second one will be the stink bait holders. And the third one will be the.
Listen to that, folks. Look, not 1, not 2, but 3 giveaways. You better get it in there. Hashtag free cool stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to get ready to give the first one away right about now. So if you haven't got in,
I think that means we love the people in chat.
That's right. Somebody got it in there right at the very end. But if you have not put it in, you can still do so.
Yep.
Fishing with the squirrel.
Fishing with the squirrel. Gets a sticker. Dawson, go ahead and if you want to message, I don't know if you have Lyle's information, you can message him. If you do not have it, you have my phone number. Send it to me, and I will get your information over there to Mr. Lyle.
Danny Avid with the super chat. Thank you, Mr. Avid.
Well, thank you, Mr. Avid. I know that was a $5 donation on my behalf from an avid fisherman.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Mark.
Mark for chat train all aboard to Chad Fields money.
I just want to throw out there that Mark gypped you out of 1 penny. He was 1 penny shyer than Avid. Avid, thank you for supporting Lyle and us more than Mark does. You're going to get ready to spin for number 2 here in just a second. If you have not put in there hashtag free cool stuff, you better get it in there. It is still time. We're going to do 2 more giveaways. The next one's going to be here in about 10 seconds. So time is limited.
And this will be the dip bait.
This is for the dip bait from Mad Catter, right?
Mad Catter's Catfishing.
Yeah.
Captain Richard Ward out of St. Joseph.
B with a super chat.
Brian, me, you can always tell who the iPhone users are, and it makes me judge them and understand why they are the way they are.
Okay, how are you knowing your iPhone users? Where are you getting this?
So if they do a flat rate fee, like a flat rate where it's $5, $2, whatever, $10, that's the way Android does. iPhone makes them do $4.99, $5.99, $9.99. That's all
Really?
iPhone users. Yes.
Is
We just got
Apple taking that penny or something?
You're so bad.
Somebody else just got in. We're going to go ahead and spin this one. Shanti loves him some Chad. I'm going to meet him in D one day. That's right, buddy. We're going to meet one of these days.
What about me?
Dale Hayslip.
Dale Hayslip.
Hayslip.
Congratulations. We got Creole with the $4.99 iPhone donation. D with the I Love Catfish Weekly $5 Super Android Super Chat.
Thank you, D. Thank you, Creole.
Appreciate you all so very much. We got LG Bass with the Shiny Heinies Fun with the Super Android Super Chat. Congratulations again, Dale. Get a hold of Mr. Lyle.
Absolutely. I think you guys all know how to get a hold of me, but if you don't, you can contact me on the Catfish Weekly Messenger, on my private individual messenger. You can email me at catfishweeklytv@gmail.com. Any of the above, and if all else fails, Josh and Chad, especially Chad, knows my email address by
and
heart.
your phone number and everything else.
Phone number and everything else.
We can just hook people up.
Yeah, whatever you need to do to get a hold of me, get a hold of me. We'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
And
We've got about 10 to 15 more seconds, and we're going to give this the last spinner, Rooney. Yeah, we still have 35 people entered. If you are interested in free cool stuff, enter hashtag free cool stuff.
And don't forget that right after Catfish Weekly, Mark with the Catfish and Crappie podcast will be live fishing on the Fox River, so you don't want to miss that.
Shanti Mendota is in Madison, Wisconsin.
And I know that's a long way for you, but I promise you it will be worth the trip.
It is definitely worth the trip up there. All right. Let's see. All right, here we go. We had one more person enter. That was Susquehanna Stan. We're going to draw it again. And he won it. Congratulations, Stan. Get a hold of Mr. Lyle.
Well, I don't think they're frozen that far north already. Mark would be the one to ask on that for sure, but
we don't live that far north.
No. I think the only place I've seen snow was like Wyoming.
Yeah, no, I think it's a little early.
Here's something that I don't get, boys. Mark is an hour and a half, I believe he said, maybe 2 hours from Lake Mendota. How do you live that close and not fish that way 2 or 3 times a month? I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Holy crap. I mean, he's got all the money in the world. He's got a boat and he lives that close. What the hell?
Well, yeah, he could go over there and catch channel cats bigger than the flathead that he catches.
I mean, with Mark's money, he could have a lake house there at Mendota if
he probably does. He just doesn't want to
tell us about it, so we can't like go have a party there when we're all up there.
I'm freezing tonight. It's cold.
It sounds like it's pouring rain outside here.
It's not here. There's somebody across the street. They're beating outside.
Shanti, it's Madison, Wisconsin. Lake Mendota is right in the middle, right in the center of Madison, Wisconsin.
Yep. If you like catching giant channel cat, that's the place.
Yeah,
but I did talk to a guy over the weekend, was telling me about some of the big channel cat that's up in Nebraska and Iowa. And I know they got some big ones up there. And I wouldn't mind trying that. That way, maybe we could get 2 great channel cat trips in
Yeah.
a year. I'm all over that. So,
Shallow water channel cats are just fun.
yeah.
I mean,
Especially the ones like the size we catch up there,
yeah.
it's different.
Oh, good, Dead Sea. I'm glad to hear that. I've been having some problems, and some of them I've had to send out twice and make it only once. I know the post office is a little bit hard on getting the stuff in and out, but they are the only game I have. I don't have any other shipping company in Buffalo. I mean, we're a very small town, but if you don't get them in a reasonable amount of time, all you have to do is message me again, and if I'm out of whatever it was, I will send you something of equal or greater value to replace it. It's that simple.
Well, I'll be honest. I agree. The post office can definitely take a lot of extra time. I actually just looked over and saw a giveaway that I did a couple weeks ago that I have to send out to Danny Stone still. Sorry, buddy. I'll get that out one of these days.
I think he's talking about you two.
Pick on Mark Diane. Well, we would never.
That's what
I tried to tell Lyle to leave you alone.
Sean, don't you live down by Creole?
Yeah.
Maybe you and Jeremy could jump in the truck and head up together.
And on up.
That sounds like a lot of fun because I know Jeremy like to go catch them in giant channels.
I mean, and as far as boat, Josh could hook like 3 or 4 of his boats up together and just pull them all up there. Be like,
there we go.
See it like this up down the interstate.
Hey, we're 2 years running without hitting a toll on the way up there, Chad. Can you say that?
Hi, Josh. Oh, what did you just highlight? Abe McLaughlin says, my wife just walked by and heard Shiny Heiny being said. She said, what dirty stuff are you watching? We don't need that negative Mark told talk up in here, okay? All right. I think we're all caught up here, Lyle. We got our giveaways.
Okay.
What do you say, my friend?
I think we've had a great show tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did.
Very much.
And
I think if anybody's got any ideas for something they'd like to see us cover, they should put that in the Catfish Weekly group there on Facebook.
Yes.
And maybe get themselves a shout out for being the topic of the week, something like that. And
yeah.
Hey, Two Stands is in here.
Yeah. Hey, Stan.
Late to the train party as always. He's always on
the caboose.
He's bringing up the caboose, and we appreciate it. Thanks, Brown.
I'm not going to get into the train business.
I bet you were. Josh, any tips before we close out tonight, brother?
I think we've covered so much stuff tonight that
I agree.
We'll be back next week with one, and got a few floating around that we can throw out there, but I need props, and I don't have any props here with me tonight. So
you have a prop right above you on the right-hand side. Love you, Chad.
That's a tool.
Chad, what have you got going on Thursday night on the bait shop, buddy?
Yeah, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We have Fish Flex as a guest this coming week. I have finally kicked my butt in gear after, asking Freddie to do it for 6 months and never getting a guest. I decided to go out and just be the CEO that I am, and I started getting you guys some more fine guests again. We had LG Bass last week, awesome show last week, and I think Fish Flex is going to be another one this week.
Oh, I'm sure.
As long as I can keep D from reading any of the chat messages. So. She'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. Drove to New York a few times. Well, there you go. That's nothing like going to Mendota.
Nope.
Well, we come on with Panfish Nation right after the bait shop on Thursday night, and then we'll be right back here next Monday night at 7 o'clock on Catfish Weekly, and Mark will follow us right up after the show, which reminds me, as soon as we close out here, which is going to be momentarily, you can jump on over to the Catfish and Crappie podcast because Mark will be live fishing on the Fox River.
Oh, yeah.
So that should be interesting. We're hoping to catch us a bunch of fish.
Or cold.
Or one big fish. Great big new PB for Mark.
I hope he catches
Yeah,
a great,
that's my vote
great
for the
flathead. Personally, I would have just soon watch him catch some channel cat, but if anybody's going to catch a big flathead, it should be me. But if he catches one, I'm okay with it. What do you say, Chad?
I reckon. I guess I'll allow him to catch one good fish a year.
We've picked on him enough tonight. He needs a big
We
one.
have. He's looking for a big flathead. I know that he is.
His
He hasn't
season's ending.
caught a giant up there this year, but he has caught some giants. So he's caught some good ones this year, but just not what he wants. So maybe tonight's the night. We'll just have to wait and see. But if not, that place is loaded with great channel cat. Not super great, but really good ones. So either way, I'd be happy with either one of them. With that being said, I think we're done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good show tonight. Glad everybody joined us. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the way out. Join us if you care to, and subscribe if you will.
Yep.
We'll see y'all next Thursday or next Monday night right here on Catfish Weekly.
Have a good week, everybody.
Yeah. Have a great